Hey there, it's Adrian over at the Sampleist, and today we are going to look at something very much different to our normal fare. This video is about the effects bundle from UVI, which is a collection of top-notch effects that are sure to help in mixing and creating your next project. The collection consists of 10 separate effects. We have Shade, an advanced EQ and creative multi-band shaping environment, Opal, a physically modelled compressor that delivers 7 variations of an iconic optical compressor. We have Plate, a physically modelled electromechanical reverb, alongside Spark, which is an algorithmic reverb that has a light CPU footprint. We also have Dual Delay X, which is a unique approach to spatial delay, alongside Relayer, a multi-tap delay with extensive shaping controls. We then go a bit more vintage in the sense we have Rotary, a modern take on the classic rotary speaker sound. We also have Phaser, does what it says on the tin, it's a feature-rich phaser effect. Thorus, which is a next generation classic modulation effect. And finally, we have the piece de la resistance, the drum replacer, a machine learning based drum replacement and processing utility. All these come in audio unit AAX, VST and VST3 format. You can activate them directly on your machine or through the iLok interface. That's either with the dongle or using the iLok on your computer itself, and you can authorise them directly to your computer that way. You will need about 3 GB disk space and at least 4 GB of RAM. Both Mac 10.14 through to 13 and Windows 10 and 11 are fully supported. The price at the time of this recording is $299. There's a lot to unpack here, as you probably gathered, so let's have a play with these effects and see what they are all about and how they can help shape your sound. The way we're going to approach this is by using a short recording I made with UVI's fantastic flagship synth Falcon. We will then use one of the effects to show what it can do to that sound, and then where appropriate we'll move on to more loop based instruments, which you'll understand why when we come to them. Up first is Plate, our physically modelled plate reverb, and how we're going to look at this is I'm going to play a little synth line put together using UVI's Falcon, and then I'm going to engage the plate effect so you can actually see and hear what it actually does to the sound. So first of all, we'll play it dry. Straight away you can see and also hear that just by simply changing your plate, it dramatically alters the sound and allows you some wonderful shaping qualities to add to your project. Now there's a lovely little interface that if you just click this little down arrow, it will open into like an EQ here, so you can actually shape your sound a little bit more. So let's have a little play with that and with this sound. go and now move on to another reverb that's in this package, and that's Spark Verb. And this has got a really light CPU footprint, but a powerful sound. So we'll use the same synth loop that we had last time, and we'll just play it through it and see what Spark Verb does to the sound. And when I was going through those little presets there, you probably saw me click on this wonderful little icon here, which is something unique I've not seen actually before on any effects. And if you click on that, it's another way of actually browsing the presets. So you can click on each preset and it'll load that preset. But if you want to sort of like go somewhere between, let's get rid of that, somewhere between those three, just click in the middle and it'll create a whole brand new preset, which is a bit of each one of these, so you can get a different sound altogether. I'll just quickly demonstrate that now. So that's a really quick way to start experimenting to gain new patches and stuff for your reverb. Quite innovative really, and it brings a whole new sort of like twist to trying to find and create some kind of reverb that fits with your track. Now we come to our unique approach to spatial delay, DuDelay X. This is a fantastic little plugin to shape your sound, and I really enjoyed playing with this one. So this is what it does to the sound. So there's a lot there to shape your sound. That was just a quick flick through some of the presets there. We have the wonderful delay section, which we all know how that should work, and modulation. Now rotation is really interesting because that alters the rotation and reflection of the delays. You can actually then sort of downgrade the delay effects in the sense of you can change the bit depth, so you can change it anywhere from 4 bits to 16-bit audio, and the sample rate you can go all the way from 8 kilohertz all the way up to 48 kilohertz. So I think that went actually further, 4 kilohertz, sorry, to 48 kilohertz. Add a bit of tape saturation onto your sound and some dispersion on the, and I'll just tweak that down a bit because I'm just going to play this patch again after doing a bit of tweaking and put some feedback shaping on. So you can make it really tight, and I'll alter some of the reflections on the sound now, and we get something completely different. Great way to shape your sound and give it something different, shall we say, to make it stand out from the crowd. We now move on to relay, which is a multi-tap delay. There's quite a lot of tweakability, I think is probably the word for this one. And we're going to knock it up a notch, this one. We're going to see what it does to a simple pad sound. So this is what the pad sounds like. Again, created using UVI's Falcon. So that straight away adds something different to a quite static pad sound. And we'll just play this one through that little synth line that we've been playing on the other effects that we've been looking at. So when it stops the delay, that's what you get there. So you've got quite a lot of multi-tap goodness to play with here. So that basically it does what it says on the tin there. You can alter the time, the volume gain of the actual delays. You can pan those delays. We've got separate effects channels here, and you can also change your feedback and the ducker, which you normally get with quite a few different delays going on here. Okay, we're now going to go time traveling. We're going to go back in time, looking at rotary, which is sort of take on the classic rotary speaker from of yore. and well, we'll use it on this pad sound that I've put together, which sounds like this on its own. But then when I engage rotary, we automatically travel back to those wonderful prog rock days. So I hope you got the idea of what was going on there as I tweaked and moved some of the knobs. Basically, we can alter the width and the angle of the actual rotary, so you can have it more to your left speaker than the right. So you can alter the sort of like the effect of the rotary to make it more off kilter. So if we did that, it would be more off kilter and come more to the left speaker. We have different models to play with of speakers, and then down here we just basically allow you to tweak the way the actual speaker reacts to the sound. So if I just go back to the default setting and just play around with these knobs, so you can actually hear what they do to the sound. Right, we're going to move on to phaser now, our phaser effect. And this is what it does to the sound. think the controls here speak for themselves. What we have here is the big rate knob in the middle, which obviously changes the rate of the phaser effect. And then the LFO down below changes the sort of like type of the effect. So I'll just play through that once more. So I'm just move these different parameters in the LFO section so you get to hear what they actually do. We now move on to Thorus, a next generation classic modulation effect, and this is what it does to the sound. We're now going to move on to Opal, which is our physically modelled compressor that delivers 7 variations of an iconic optical compressor. And how I'm going to demonstrate this one is by a simple loop. I'll just bypass this for now, and you get this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with some very exaggerated sounds on the compressor, because I'm going to take it for granted that we all know what a compressor does. So I'm just going to engage this, and I'm just going to play around with some really exaggerated settings so you can hear what it does to the sound. And some of the unique controls on this particular compressor is this wonderful responsiveness dial. This allows you to dial in the attack and decay at the same time on the particular sound. So this is what it does to it. So it allows you to dial in a real tightness to your sound if you want that particular feel to your track. We now have Shade, which is an advanced EQ and has a lot of creative multi-band shaping effects to go with it. So yes, you can use this as a normal EQ, and I'm not going to take you through what it does to the sound with an EQ. We should all know what an EQ does to that. What I'm going to look at is the more of the sound shaping capabilities of this plugin. So we'll go back to our little synth line, which will bypass this EQ. So that's what that is, you know, we know that particular sound. So what we're going to do is just going to have a look at some of these effects already in. So we'll have a listen to this Californian Wings. So I'll just move it to the default so you can sort of have a look at how we can actually do some of this ourselves. First of all, just add a wonderful point on the EQ spectrum here, and we'll just have a bandpass, and we'll go for resonance. And I want to just affect the sides. I'll leave it on stereo for now so we can actually hear what it's doing. Now, I just want to change the Q width to a bit tighter. And I want to change that slope to 24 decibel slope, so it's quite a tight shape. And this is what it's going to do to the sound. And I'm just going to play the sound, I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to start moving some of these dials and effects and add some. So straight away you can just sort of get a feel of exactly what's going on here. We're really shaping the sound. You can do absolutely all sorts of crazy things with this. I'm just going to flick over to a drum loop now and close this version of Shade, and we'll open what it's going to do to some live drums. I'll just make sure that live drums is the only one that's going to play. And if I just bypass this is the live drum sound. And when I engage Shade, we get this. So dramatically altering quite a static, boring drum loop into, let's say, a more entertaining and vibrant loop. So now we come to the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle for this package, Drum Replacer. And this is very entertaining. I had some great fun playing with this. So if you've got a little loop like this, but that kick drum sounds a bit meh, and you want to replace it or even beef it up, dead easy to do. What I'm going to do is just grab this sample that I've got of another kick drum and just drop it into that little place here. And when I play and I move this threshold down, this green line, let's move it up to the top so it doesn't trigger straight away, it will bring in the sample I've just brought in. Now, more sort of say astute people here, and I'm sure that's everybody listening to this channel, it sounds a little bit off in the sense that it doesn't quite hit the beat. So if you press play and then press the learn button, we're bang on time here. So that's the original. So you can replace that wonderful part of the kick. But that's not all. What you can actually do from here is if I just clear this particular sound. I don't need to. I'll tell you what, we can actually open a plugin. Now, if it doesn't, any plugins come in here, just go rescan all plugins. And what it's going to do, it will rescan all the plugins that are on my drive and allow me to bring in a plugin. I will come back in a moment once it's finished the scan. Okay, so the scan's finished, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in Falcon. Yes, you can bring a whole VST into Drum Replacer. And I'm just going to open the plugin here, and I'm going to say I'm going to look at Primate, which is a freebie for Falcon. And I want to add a bit of ambient drums to this. So I'm going to load in Chill Island. And the loop itself, I think it's this one up here. Press. But what I want that kick drum. So all I need to do from here is literally scoot down to C1. That's my note. And do the same. So fantastic drum replacer there. So all in all, fantastic package of effects to play with. This bundle represents excellent value and gives plenty of bang for your buck. The interfaces are very clearly laid out and just begging you to tweak those little knobs. And if you've used these style of effects before, they are very intuitive on what the controls actually do. So whether you're mixing, mastering, sound designing, this bundle has something for all styles and is bound to provide inspiration. If you are looking for a one-stop bundle of effects to expand your DAW's palette, then this is really worth a look. But let's look at another way. Let's face it, when you buy this bundle you are getting 10 effects, and at $299 that is an equivalent of $29 for each effect. That is really some value. I would like to thank UVI for sending across the effects bundle for a review. This is very much appreciated, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and visit thesampleist.com to see what we are all about.